Let's start at the beginning. Let's just watch the beginning. Watch the first 20 minutes.
I am Dwango AC, Keeper of Taskbot, and I am so happy to welcome you to the Ocarina of Time Beta Showcase. Our director with us here today is Soren.
Hi everyone, I'm a tools developer and music arranger for the N64 community.
We also have Save State.
Hello, I'm an Ocarina of Time scientist, speedrunner, and world record holder.
We only have a couple of quick things to tell you about really fast. This is an unmodified Ocarina of Time cartridge. This is the first release we know of that came out in the United States, and you wouldn't believe what's in this cartridge. This is a real, original N64. The only modification is an RGB mod to get a clean video signal. Otherwise, the console hasn't been modified in any way, and the gameplay is completely unaffected.
And what we'll be showing you today is some beta and debug content from Ocarina of Time, including content left on the game cartridge. In order to bring this content to life in the game, we'll be using arbitrary code execution, which we'll explain in a moment. And in order to make that possible, we actually have to work with both a human speedrunner, Save State, as well as Taskbot here, and we'll introduce Taskbot also in a moment, but we're going to get started with Save State.
So if we're ready to start, we'll begin in 3, 2, 1.
So the game has a pretty long intro sequence, so we'll explain more of what's going on while that's happening.
Okay.
So first of all, I need to introduce the version 1 of Taskbot. He is brand new at this event in his new form, and I'm so excited to unveil him. If you've never heard of Taskbot before, he is very fascinating. He pretends to be a controller connected to a real console, and he presses buttons extremely fast and extremely precisely, faster than any human ever could. Now, there's a couple of quick things we need to talk about, because this run is kind of unique. Most of the time, when you think about a speed run, you're talking about a human speedrunner, like Save State here, doing a run from start to finish as fast as they can with human effort. And we call that an RTA run, or a real-time attack. In the case of Taskbot, he's usually playing back tool-assisted speedruns, or a TAS. Usually a TAS is
A macro?
made ahead of time with a lot of engineering challenge effort put into it. And what you're going to see here today is fascinating because we can't do just a TAS in Ocarina of Time for a number of technical reasons. We'll always end up with a desync. So instead, right now we're having Save State play. They'll play through to about a few minutes in, and then at a certain point, we'll connect Taskbot to all 4 controller ports. Taskbot will press a series of button presses very quickly to achieve what we call ACE. More on that in a second. And we'll get to a point where we'll pass control back to Save State. They'll continue playing on controller 1, while Taskbot will continue to be connected to ports 2 through 4.
This was only a month ago, guys.
A lot of interesting things are going to happen. You're going to enjoy this. Now, there's a couple of things we need to talk about ACE and SRM. ACE stands for arbitrary code execution, and SRM is stale reference manipulation. I'll let Soren talk about a little bit more about SRM in a sec, but just to give you an idea of what ACE is. In the context of a computer, you would consider ACE when an attacker or someone who's not the owner of a system somehow gets code or gets data on a system that looks like code to execute. In the case of a game, typically ACE happens when a talented gamer finds a glitch, is able to get data in a system in a certain way, and then convinces the game system to execute that as code. This is used in certain things like the Nintendo 64 80% of Ocarina of Time, which uses an ACE to write a couple of instructions that end up jumping to the end credits. So there's a lot of interesting things you can do.
This is not defeat canon,
Once
it's
you
just
have
80%.
arbitrary code execution, you can do a lot of different things, but you have to get there first, and that's going to take some SRM. I will let Soren describe what SRM is here.
Yeah, so SRM stands for stale reference manipulation. And it's basically a glitch or an exploit that has one main glitch and a bunch of sort of supporting glitches that allows us to achieve arbitrary code execution. So SRM is sort of the process, and arbitrary code execution, ACE, is the result. And
Well, you can use
understand
SRM for a lot of things, not just arbitrary
It's
code
in a computing context, you might hear of this be called use after free. So we're using some resource in memory after it has theoretically already been freed. And so to understand how that works, I first want to explain somewhat about how the game's memory works. So in memory, there is a region of memory called the actor heap. And actors are, let's say, Link or a rock or an enemy or anything like that that has some sort of behavior in the game. And so when you go through a loading zone into a new area, like right now, the game will load all of the code and all of the data for all the actors in the new area you're going to be in into the actor heap. And it'll load them in an order depending on what was there previously. And normally you don't care what order contents are in the actor heap because the game keeps track of where everything is, so it doesn't really matter where everything is. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be manipulating the actor heap so that where one item is in memory ends up coinciding where something else loads later. And normally that wouldn't matter, but because of some other glitches that will matter, and I'll explain that in a moment. So the way we manipulate the heap is, let's say if you pick up a rupee or you throw a rock or something like that, that item will be removed from the actor heap, and then something else could load there later. So if you go through another loading zone, then that means how everything else loads will be shifted around. And so you'll see us like collecting seemingly random rupees and going through a loading zone over and over, and that's basically shuffling around the data in the actor heap so that we can have this particular alignment of particular data to each other later. And what those two pieces of data that we're going to align is, one of them is the entity, basically the temporary actor data for a rock that Link is going to be holding, and then what we get to load in there in place of it.
We're gonna get a shield.
Is the code for another actor, which is this wonder item. It's basically an invisible rupee that you can collect. And so that might not make sense at the moment, but I'll explain why we need those two to align in memory. So
is it
piece,
the invisible
actual scale
rupee for the
reference
Z
or scale
targeting
reference manipulation is that we use some glitches to cause an object to unload that Link is holding. And so what this means is Link grabs a rock, and on every frame that Link is holding the rock or whatever, any item that he's holding, the game updates the position and rotation of the rock so that it appears over his head, because he's moving around. It needs to continuously update where the rock is. And so the way that works is that Link's actor has a pointer to the rock's actor, and every frame Link's actor will overwrite the position and rotation of the rock. And so using a bunch of glitches, we're going to lock the camera and then have Link walk through a loading zone at the same time that the rock unloads. And the result of that is that the rock will unload from memory, but Link won't update his pointer.
stick.
So he'll still be carrying the now nothing, this unused memory, and every frame Link's code will be overwriting the position and rotation of now nothing, this unused memory. And then we get the code for the wonder item to load into that same slot of unused memory. And then that means Link's code every frame is now overwriting part of the code for the wonder item. So it's not actor data by actual code. And then if we get the game to execute that code by normally having the wonder item on screen, it'll execute that code. It'll run into those instructions that we overwrote, and then it'll run that instruction. And that is instructions that we, as a player, because
sorry guys, this is all set up, but I'm interested in
this.
this.
That value, and then we can execute that code.
Even though I'm not going to remember all this stuff later, but if I hear it again, I'll remember it better.
Control 2 bytes of one instruction, which is enough to change the target of a branch instruction, which will basically have the game jump to another place, execution jump to another place in memory. And that other place is going to be Link's rotation. So it's, Link's rotation, 2 shorts, Link's sword rotation and current rotation or something like that. And that also encodes an instruction. We're going to use that to encode a jump instruction that will jump to some memory that is holding the current state of all of the controllers. So that is just memory holding all of the buttons and control sticks. And so that's where we'll switch to TaskBot. So TaskBot will input controller input that is it will be interpreted by the game as normal controller input, but will also be interpreted by the game as code. So just to go over this path again, we're talking about code execution normally goes through the wonder item. We overwrote an instruction from holding this rock.
Wonder item, I've never heard this term before.
That will then jump to Link's rotation, and then Link's rotation will jump to the controllers, and then we'll be executing controller input as code.
Right.
And then TaskBot will take over and do some
SRM does involve a lot of
we're just,
precise angles.
Finishing this setup here.
Yeah, getting that value.
Got to do a few glitches here to lock the camera.
Okay.
So the camera is locked and sort of in a strange state now. Going to go over and change the angle of the camera and get the camera locked into a different place.
Very cool. Oh, nice.
Now
I mean,
we're
I
gonna pick up
could
this
do all
rock
this
and
on my copy of
make
the
the
game.
camera switch at the same time. Now we have to walk off screen holding the rock and manage to navigate out of the loading zone holding the rock without any visual reference. So just take a moment here. And so now you'll see we're holding nothing. So Link is updating this unused memory. Now that we've crossed back over a loading zone, that memory is filled in with this, the code for the wonder item. And when we put down the rock, that's the last time we've updated that rotation value, which is now overwriting part of the code. And now we have to set up Link's rotation. So, you know, if you were really lucky, you could just push the control stick and make Link rotate it in an exact direction. But, you know, we have to use a setup for this. So we're doing basically a series of maneuvers that will each move Link's angle by a certain amount in a certain direction. And so we do this series of maneuvers, and it will, you know, result in Link having an exact value for the rotation, which will encode this jump instruction. So almost ready for TaskBot here. We just have to have, we're buffering a turn. We have to have Link aiming in the exact right location here. I think that's it.
Yep.
So now I'm going to switch controller 1 over to TaskBot. So TaskBot is now connected to all 4 controller ports.
Starting TaskBot.
And we're going to play a short task movie here, about 20 seconds or so. So right now, the game is, you know, interpreting the controller input as Link wiggling around, but also interpreting the controller input as code. At first, it's 1 instruction per frame, and then it goes a bit faster. And after a few seconds here, you'll see a little green bar in the corner of the screen. That means this was successful.
Oh, yes, I see it above the
That
heart.
was the big moment, though you may not have realized it. And so now we've switched.
Oh, there is
So we've
some
switched
lag
controller
in
1
the game.
back to TaskBot. Sorry, back to save state. So they will continue playing on controller 1
Not
for the rest of
much.
the run. But TaskBot remains connected to controller ports 2, 3, and 4 this whole time. And so we just had to go into a house to clear out some residual glitches that were active for the arbitrary code execution. So here's our first piece of content to show here. This is the inventory editor. This was created by the developers to, you know, be able to more easily test the game and, you know, set up Link's state. We basically just had to write 1 byte to memory in the pause screen
Wow.
to turn on the inventory editor and be able to use it. So you may have actually seen this in the Majora's Mask speedruns, at least at one point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we don't have to go to the dungeons and get the items legitimately. We just give ourselves all the items we're going to need throughout the rest of the run.
Audience doesn't know when to clap. Oh man, this is so cool.
So this piece brings us to our next piece of content here. This is the R-Wings from Star Fox 64.
No, I've seen this before. Oh my gosh.
You may have actually seen this.
Yeah,
Sorry,
we
you
can
may
go
have
for about
actually seen
5
this
more
at
minutes.
home. If you have a Game Shark, you can run a couple of Game Shark codes and get it to spawn. The developers of Ocarina of Time back in 1998 created the R-Wing to be able to test physics for the fire dragon Volvagia. And it has its own animations and sounds and everything. But we were able to dispatch it with the boomerang pretty easily.
Actually, we
here.
can go for like 15
So that brings
more
us to our
minutes.
next piece of content here. So some of you may have played Zelda 1 on the original Nintendo. And on Zelda 1, the Lost Woods was a place that you could go,
20
just like
hearts.
here in Ocarina of Time. And it was 1 screen with exits north, south, east, and west, just like this first room here in Ocarina of Time, in the Lost Woods in Ocarina of Time. And in Zelda 1, you had to learn a code from some NPC or somebody that was north, west, south, west. You had to go through the exits
Why are we
in the
not
woods in
back
order,
walking?
north, west, south, west. If you did, you would get through the woods successfully. And if you didn't, you would fail and you would get thrown out of the woods. But here, if we go north in the first room in Kokiri and Lost Woods, we just immediately get thrown out of the woods.
I think Save
And
State is
so
doing
you would think
this.
that means that this code can't possibly apply to Ocarina of Time. But actually what we're doing here is we're getting lost out of a north-facing exit, and then getting lost out of a west-facing exit, and then out of a south exit, and then a west exit. So it's the same code, but it's actually getting lost multiple times. And this is the last one, the west exit here. And so we just have to re-enter the woods a 5th time. You hear a Zelda chime. That means we've unlocked something. So, you know, it isn't really clear if maybe nobody tried repeatedly getting lost in all these different exits in this pattern, or maybe if they did, that they didn't know where to look next, because you'll miss him if you don't know where to look. This is a beta Kokiri. This is our next piece of beta content to show here. There's actually several beta
That's
Kokiri
awesome.
bodies and a few different beta Kokiri heads left on the cartridge. This is actually, you know, actual beta.
Yeah,
content
this was
left
the
on cartridge.
modified Mito that
And so
I
this
saw.
this beta Kokiri is looking for some kind of bug, but he doesn't want the bugs that we have in our bottle. He wants some flying bug, something about flowers. So we've got a
Like
this
butterflies?
is typical, you know, child link side quest.
You
We've
can
gotta
turn
find
butterflies
some
into bombs,
bug
by the way.
for a Kokiri.
Or
You know, this is
fairies,
what
no
Link has to
fairies.
go through.
Bombs in
So-
SM64, fairies in Ocarina of Time.
So this brings us to our next.
If you
piece
get
of
'em
beta
to land on a
content here.
Deku
So
stick.
in Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, you may have noticed butterflies in the games.
Okay.
Sometimes fluttering
I should
over
just be
hidden
quiet.
grotto or over around a torch in Majora's Mask or something like that. And in Ocarina of Time, left on the cartridge, there is a 3D model for the get item model for a butterfly. And there is also an entry in one of the item tables for a butterfly in with all of the other bottle items. So it's pretty clear that at some point in development, it was intended that you could catch a butterfly in your bottle. And so, you know, here, this is, you know, the shop normally doesn't have a butterfly on sale. But since we have talked to the beta Kokiri and he's looking for a butterfly, we can talk to the shopkeeper, and he will now respond to this.
And we're gonna be.
I think
we're gonna try to be
wait.
quiet so y'all can read the on-screen text.
If I can do this, I want to do this on my console. I can't do the taskbot stuff.
So here's the butterfly 3D model that's left on the cartridge. It's actually ironic. There is a bug in the display list for this butterfly. There's actually an issue with one of the texture formats. So we had to patch that with arbitrary code execution. So now we have to give this butterfly to the beta Kokiri. Fortunately, we have a warp point nearby. So we just have to head to the forest here. And this will be a good time for a couple of donations.
Oh,
Absolutely.
well, we
Yeti
can listen to the
sent us
donations.
a
It's fine.
breathtaking $10,000 donation. And they say, hey all, Yeti here. You may not know this, but we are pretty good friends with Tazbot.
Oh, Yeti, the
Tazbot
t-shirt.
is actually
Okay.
Yeti's emergency contact. Yeti has notifications turned on Twitter for Tazbot.
Yeah, they
Tazbot will be the
they
best part
partner
of
with
Yeti's
Yeti
wedding.
like all
One
the
day,
time.
if that ever happens. Anyways, we're all very proud of everyone who donated towards this amazing Tazbot block. You are amazing. Thank you, Yeti. We have a $5 donation from Shaden
The
who says,
gate's so
donation
loud.
power. Yes, every donation has power. And thank you, Black Turtle, for the $25 donation who says, Tazbot, best bot. Need more Tazbot. Time for one or two more?
Nope, we're here. Here we are at the beta Kokiri again. We're going to give him the butterfly.
The announcer was so excited. Except one time he
Mido's
gave me
pretty
this in
unpopular
order for me
around
to
these
keep it
parts.
safe. Spoilers! Oh, magic powder.
So
That's
this magic
an
powder is
item
actually
you can
a
get other
normal
ways.
Adult Link
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
trading item, except it's normally called Odd Potion. The magic powder, you know, even though it's pretty clearly some sort of, you know, powder on a napkin or something like that. The magic powder was introduced in Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, which is the game right before Ocarina of Time. So I'm not really sure why they translated it as Odd Potion. But anyway, we're going to, normally this is adult-only item, but we have it now, and we're going to use it here in the same place that that Adult Link normally uses it.
Magic. Give it back.
And we're
No.
just going to say no to some of the dialogue prompts so you can see the alternate outcome.
Wow.
And
It's just
Mido.
Not a popular guy around here.
No?
Nope.
Yeah, Mido is a kind of a dick. I can't believe this all exists in the game. Or does it? Is this all arbitrary code
So this
execution
brings
made to
us
look
our
like
next,
real
thing to
stuff?
show here. As many of you may know, in Ocarina of Time, there is a mask trading side quest.
Oh, we have the Gerudo mask.
The masks don't do too much outside of the side quest. They have a couple of small functions. They change some dialogue. They don't really have any serious magic power. We just upgraded the Gerudo mask here. We're going to do the same thing for the bunny hood. Save State has done a little
The
inventory
dialogue
manipulation
options
glitch
when you
here
wear those
to,
masks are pretty bland normally, but you can actually...
allow us to equip 2 different masks at the same time, which isn't normally possible.
Wow.
So we're going to upgrade the bunny hood also.
Yeah, and the bunny hood
So
in
now
this
our
game does not
masks are
speed you
powered
up unlike Majora's
I'll
Mask.
explain that more in a moment here. But the bunny hood now will have its behavior from Majora's Mask, allowing us to run very quickly, which will be very helpful here.
It is a speed run event
Yes.
after all.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm not sure if you would call this beta content exactly. It was clearly content that was, being thought about by the developers while they were developing Ocarina of Time. The ability to have these masks and have them have magic powers, but it was left in Ocarina of Time in this vestigial state of this mask trading side quest, and then expanded into a full, complete new behaviors for all the masks in Majora's Mask.
Gosh. I just
So we're
had
going to be
no
heading over
idea.
to Gerudo Valley, and we have time for a couple more donations.
Certainly.
I've
Joe
seen some of
Bird
the beta
donates
areas.
$250, and they say Metroid Dread Boss Rush sounds dope.
Wow.
Will we hit the incentive? I hope. With Samus and skill, the bosses will kill.
Oh,
Will this
Metroid
speedrun
Dread.
be boring?
I'd love to have that
Nope.
game, but no, not the money.
And thank you one more. Oh, wow. Thank you, everybody. Yeah. Nups donates $20. They say, I hope
God,
I'm
I
not
can't
too
believe-
late for the Limerick train. No, you're never too late for that train while I'm on the train. There
Limerick
once
train.
was a speedrun event
So-
that donated every cent called SGDQ. Broke
They
some
already had
records
this
too,
planned
and
in Ocarina of
prizes
Time.
presented by Cent.
I mean, it was obvious that they would have this plan in Ocarina of Time. You get the bunny hood from the running guy, the running man, who runs
One more?
really fast.
No, we're pretty much here. So just going to run over to the other side of the bridge here. So normally there's this Gerudo guarding this gate here. And normally if you wear the Gerudo mask and you go up to her, she says, "You've got guts, kid," coming around here wearing something like that. But now that the mask is upgraded and it's actually magical, she thinks we are a half Hylian, half Gerudo child.
We're Kokiri. Well, we actually are Hylian.
And she'll open the gate for us. You can also get over here with speedrunning strategies. But
Can you go through
Not as
Desert
fun.
Wasteland?
we're just going to talk to a couple of the guards for some flavor text.
All
here.
right, we got like 5 more minutes that we can watch here before I gotta go to bed. Well, I mean, I won't go immediately to bed, but I want to make sure that we end stream early enough. And then we'll continue this like tomorrow, I guess.
Sounds like they have a pretty
We
tough life
are-
out here in the desert. Gotta make sure they don't see us.
I guess we'll be almost a
switch
half
around
an hour
second.
in.
We have time for maybe 1 long or 2 quick donations here.
Yeah, certainly. Wiggly Boots donates $25. They say, Tazbot was a major reason why I started watching GDQ years ago. So great to see Dwango, Tazbot, and the rest of the team still making amazing things happen. I agree. Safe State, Soren,
As
Dwango,
child.
y'all are incredible. Give it up for them, y'all. And Vega 4K, $10 and says, fantastic run. Less than 3.
So we're just going to talk to a couple more Gerudos here so you can see more of their backstory. Normally don't get to interact with them as Child Link.
This is all on the 256 megabit cartridge, the 32 megabyte cartridge.
Wouldn't want to be them. And here's Naburo, future Sage of Spirit. This is, her home, basically.
What? Okay, there's a like a 37th heart piece in here too.
So it looks like our disguise is working.
Are they gonna get that?
Oh, maybe not.
They already know the Ganondorf. Okay, at this point in time. Huh. Even if that means betraying
Sounds
us
like
all.
Ganondorf is not popular around here either.
No kid will stop Ganondorf. Untrue. The old any percent run, you did fight Ganondorf as a kid. Actually, well, I mean, not even. No, I mean it goes back quite a ways that you're a child. I don't even know how far back you'd have to go for an 80% run to kill Ganondorf as an adult. Look at the camera. The camera has its own... There's a cutscene? Oh, and then this is for the lens of truth. You... it explains all of this?
So what this is about is there's a couple hints in the game code looking at it that perhaps at some point in development, the Spirit Temple was actually intended to be completed by Link going back and forth in time, like within the dungeon. Not just
Within
doing
the
half of it
dungeon.
and then going and pulling the Master Sword and then doing the other half. So if that was the case, Link would need some way to go back and forth in time, without pulling the Master Sword. And Nabooru would need to be able to teach him this ability that he would need. She won't take no for an answer, but that's pretty common for NPCs in Ocarina of Time. So Nabooru plays the Shinai. This is the instrument that you'll hear in the background music of the Spirit Temple. I'd like to think that the Spirit Temple music is just Nabooru off practicing somewhere in the halls. And I'll talk about this ocarina that you're seeing here in just a moment, after we're done with this
Yeah,
cutscene.
you have to hold the direction on the control stick to get to a different note. Yes, there's only 5 notes normally, but... I learned how to play the theme to Mario Bros.
It's a little
On the
tricky to
Ocarina.
input. You can see why Nintendo didn't leave this in the final game.
Wow, you learned the full Song of Time.
So we've learned the song. It represents courage,
Wow.
and it will allow us to change between child and adult without having to pull the Master Sword, and that will be very important. By the way, we'll just speak to Nabooru. She says she'll see us again in a few years. We'll see about that. So yeah, about the ocarina system you saw there. So,
Okay.
In the game,
I do
normally,
wanna stop here.
If you can play the ocarina.
Okay,
and
we're gonna
there are
wa-
5 notes.
this was like the
that
first
are
half,
used
first
for all
half
the
hour.
ocarina songs that you can play with 5 buttons on the controller. But you
Yeah.
can also press R and
control-
Z
yep.
to go up and down by a half step, and you can press the control stick up or down to go up or down by a whole step. So you can play the full Song of Time like you saw here, but it will never be detected by the game as an ocarina song, because the game has actually 2 different systems in the code for handling ocarina songs. One is just for the 5 notes, and one is for all of them. So what we did here is made a couple patches with arbitrary code execution to basically make it that it was using, yes, yeah.
Oh my gosh. So it must be an Ace
Basically,
Hundo.
use the
run.
system that supports all of the notes for all of the ocarina playback, rather than.
I don't know if
use
it's
the
humanly
system sort of
possible,
half
but
and
you
half.
can do this, and you don't have to go back to the Temple of Time to change
So this brings us to our next thing to show here.
change your age.
This is the Running Man.
Okay, all right, we're gonna stop
You may
here.
know him
Running
from
Man, that's
Ocarina of
cool.
Time. He has, sort of a late
We're
game,
like 28
side
minutes
quest.
in. We'll continue this next time. It's a 58-minute long video. So yeah, we'll have a half hour left. We'll leave the next for tomorrow. We'll start game night with watching this. Yeah. So be there, be square. Oh my, this is it's too exciting. I'll probably go back to here to watch this part all over again, which sets up what's gonna happen next. But yeah, this was all. Oh my god. Okay, I'll probably start right here. It's about 24 minutes in. When you learn the full Song of Time. Okay. Wow. Okay, I'm going to go to bed. That is really cool. Wait, can we hit 420? We only have a minute and a half longer. But yeah, I don't want to spoil any more of that. Yeah. Very, very neat stuff. I haven't watched I haven't watched a GDQ in a bit. It's kind of, it's always happening. I've already seen a few. I don't know. I'll watch runs that I want to watch after the fact. But I found out about speedruns through GDQ, didn't I? Yeah, and it was like Cosmo Narcissa back in the day. And I learned about Ocarina of Time. Wow. And then that's how I learned about Twitch too, was through speedruns. SRL, Speedruns Live. You know, you could see who was live doing speedruns, and that's how I found the site Twitch. I didn't know about Twitch till then. I was like late 2014 or early 2015. Anyway, we're almost at 420, but yes, there will be a game night tomorrow, guys. Be there. We play a whole bunch of games. A lot of them are free to play to browser games. A lot of them are Switch games. Sometimes we play some Wii U games when enough people want to play them. Yeah, but there's a variety, and there's probably a game for you. And we'll start with this. We'll watch the conclusion, the finale of that video. Will be watched next time. But it has been 4 hours and 20 minutes of stream, and I'll see you soon. We're actually ending stream at a reasonable time. Till next time. Take care, everybody. Wow. Nice impending. Thanks for telling me about that. See you guys. Alright, let's finish watching this video. I know that the fan is loud, but it got to like 97 or 98 today, so it's still pretty warm. So we're gonna run it. It's down to 80 in here though. It was like 83, so actually, well, a few hours ago it was like almost 85. It was like 84.8 according to my thermometer thingamajig. Yo, how's it going, Edo? Okay. Let's finish watching this. We were watching this at the end. And why did I not get that? Alright. 69 rupees. I didn't even notice that when I paused it. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good to hear, Edo. Yo, how's it going, Hayden? So we're going to finish watching this. This is showing how arbitrary code execution works. So let me actually go back to before getting the full Song of Time. Right here. Okay.
Dwango, y'all are incredible. Give it up for them, y'all.
You can actually talk to Naburu as child. It was planned in the original game.
So we're just going to talk to a couple more Gerudos here so you can see more of their backstory. No,
yeah, 69 rupees still.
Interact with them as Child Link. Wouldn't want to be them. And here's Naburu, future Sage of Spirit. This is, you know, her home, basically.
I should play. I learned. I taught myself how to do the. It's not that tough, but the original Mario Bros. Theme song.
Looks like our disguise
on Ocarina in Ocarina of Time. So you have to use the control stick NZ. And well, that guard was like running away.
Oh, maybe not.
That was interesting. All right. So yeah, Link is gonna learn the full Song of Time, and it's in the game code. Yeah, we watched the first half last time, but I just wanted to go back a little bit, like 5 minutes, so that to see all this like actual cutscenes programmed into the game that you never get to play in the real game.
So
Wow.
what this is about is,
And it
there's a
was
couple hints in
localized
game
even.
code looking at
The
it.
text is
Perhaps
in
at some point
English.
in development, the Spirit Temple was actually intended to be completed by Link, going back and forth in time, like within the dungeon, not just doing half of it and then going and pulling the Master Sword and then doing the other half. So if that was the case, Link would need some way to go back and forth in time, without pulling the Master Sword, and Niburu would need to be able to teach him this ability that he would need. She won't take no for an answer,
Sure,
but that's
I
pretty
should,
common
Edo.
for NPCs in Ocarina of Time.
No, I will not do
So
this thing
Niburu
that I'm
plays the Shinai.
supposed to do in
This
order
is
to complete the
instrument that
story.
you hear in the background music of the Spirit Temple. I'd like to think that the Spirit Temple music is just Niburu off practicing somewhere in the halls. And I'll talk about this ocarina that you're seeing here in just a moment, after we're done with this cutscene. It's a little tricky to input. You can see why Nintendo didn't leave this in the final game.
Actually learning how to play the ocarina in Ocarina of Time. Instead of just the 5 notes. The C buttons plus
So
A.
we learn the song. It represents courage, and it will allow us to change between child and adult without having to pull the Master Sword, and that will be very important. By the way, we'll just speak to Nibura. She says she'll see us again in a few years. We'll see about that. So yeah, about the ocarina system you saw there. So in the game, normally, if you can play the ocarina.
Yeah,
and
sorry
there are
about the
5 notes
fan.
that are
I can
used
actually
for
turn
all
it
the
off.
ocarina
It's
songs.
down to
So you play
79 in
5
here,
buttons on the
so I
controller.
can
But you can also press
turn it
R
off for a
and
bit.
Z to go up and down by a half step, and you can press the control stick up or down to go up or down by a whole step. So you can play the full Song of Time like you saw here, but it just will never be detected by the game as an ocarina song, because the game has actually 2 different systems in the code for handling ocarina songs. One is just for the 5 notes, and one is for all of them. So what we did here is I made a couple patches with arbitrary code execution to basically make it that it was using. Yes, yeah.
Yep, we're big adult Link. I already saw this, so I'm not surprised. This is where we basically where we stopped last time.
Use
But yeah,
the system
you could
that
just
supports
turn
all
into
of the
adult
notes
Link
for
or
all of
child
the
Link
ocarina
at
playback,
any
rather
place.
than, these 2 systems
Or any
where it's
loading
passed down
zone.
for different things. So this brings us to our next thing to show here. This is the Running Man. You may know him from Ocarina of Time. He has, sort of a late game side quest. You can start this race with him, and then he'll give you a head start.
Oh,
You run to the end of the race as fast as you can. You can get on a pony or whatever you want, and you get to the end of the race in a bridge in the Lost Woods, and
Okay.
he'll already be there, and he'll say, you did well, but I beat you by 1 second. And even if you use speedrunning strategies to freeze the timer and end the race with a time of 0, he still says that he beat you by 1 second, and he's still there. So that means that this running man must be doing some sort of, time manipulation shenanigans in order to be able to beat us all the time. But now we have the ability to do some time manipulation shenanigans of our own. So basically
Wow.
what we've
Yeah.
done is we've started the race, and what we're going to do is go back in time 7 years by playing the ocarina,
wait, let me pause. I need
go
to
to the end of the race.
mess with something real quick. Sorry. Oh, my face cam is kind of in the way, isn't it? I mean, it's actually not in the way of the gameplay, so that's all that really matters. It's just over the fan and fan gamer.
And then go forward in time 7 years, and we will be at the end of the race before the race started. And so hopefully we'll finally be able to beat him. By the way, if you thought of this, many years ago as a possible way and went to, put the Master Sword back in, that will stop the timer. But this will not stop the timer.
Wow.
So you see we have a timer that is corrupted. It is a very large negative number because we're back in time 7 years before the beginning of the race. It's, trying to draw the number, but it's reading graphics out of bounds. And also, as Child Link, we have access to the bunny hood, so we can run more quickly to the end of the race. Oh, that's the
he has a
Child
bunny
Link version of the Running Man. He doesn't know what's coming to him.
He's wearing the bunny
So
hood.
we have time for 1 long or 2 short donations here.
So there's
Sure, how about like
How does-
5 quick
what
ones?
kind
We
of-
have a $1,000 donation from Tareen with no comment. A
what
$500
kind of-
donation from Maybe Root.
Yeah, what kind
with
of,
no
like,
comment. A
time break or, like,
$250, a
reality
$500,
breaking shenanigans is that? I'm gonna turn it on real quick
and a
during the
$1,000 donation from Anonymous with no comment. Oh, and a $1,234.56 donation from Sam D. Thank you so much. With no comment.
All right, so here we are.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let me turn it off.
Here we are at the end of the race. This is the bridge that's the end of the race. And we're just going to warp back forward in time 7 years. You see our timer is still corrupted, but it's actually at -7, 6, 5, and here he comes. And the timer ends on 0. So he's not happy that we finally beat him.
Wow.
So any NPC in Ocarina of Time, if we complete their challenge or help them out or anything like that, they have to give us a reward. So let's see what the Running Man has for us here. And since we're Adult Link, no more bunny hood, so we have to use traditional movement techniques, at least traditional for speedrunners.
Don't try this at home, kids.
So here is our reward from the Running Man. This is a beta item actually left in the cartridge. It's a giant rupee, and this is actually what it does in game, is it blows up. That's actually its behavior.
Oh my gosh.
So he is not happy about that.
Oh my gosh, he's gonna kill us. What,
But
dude?
we'll be fine. He's so fast that we can't shoot him with arrows. He just runs out of the way. He'll dodge a lot of stuff. We can avoid.
Oh my-
you see, we got knocked back, but we didn't take damage from that. We can shoot him a couple times when he's getting up there.
You makes the
Also, he's vulnerable to crouch stabs if you hit him at the right timing.
what is that?
He doesn't know how to jump over those.
Inogo? I don't know. There's Malin, Talon. There's Talon and the guy that's supposed to be like
Get a couple
Luigi
hits in there.
in Lon Lon Ranch. That's the sound effect that he's making. What's his name?
Yeah.
Don't worry, even if this save state will be fine at this, but even if we weren't, we still have the inventory editor. We can give us ourselves unlimited hearts and everything. So
This guy is so hard to beat.
just need 1 or 2 more hits here.
Oh my god.
The arrows don't do a lot of damage. Stabs do a lot more.
Especially with the big Goron sword.
Oh no.
We did cancel the damage from it though. Z targeting him makes things worse, so we're just not doing that.
Man, that
I think
attack
I need,
is
like,
so
literally
cheap.
just 1 more hit now.
There we go.
Okay, there we
There we go.
nice.
Not an easy boss.
No, not at all. Very tricky.
Huff, huff. I guess you're a better cheater than I am.
So now we get to see some of the Running Man's backstory, why he was able to beat us all these years. on some object here. It's dropped by someone fleeing town, I guess when...
Was it the
Castle
Ocarina of
attacked.
Time? Was it in the moat?
Golden locket.
Oh, golden locket.
Not sure
Faster
that's
than
how
light.
physics works, but
It's a video game.
Oh, wow.
the redemption arc.
I tried to kill you. Sniffle. Aw.
So here we have the Sage's Charm. This has enhanced our magic power. It represents power. You can see it has doubled our magic bar again. And it says equip the Sage's offerings. So we'll do that in just a moment after we watch the Running Man run off into the sunset. So, yeah.
So the fight took long
this-
enough.
This is another beta feature from Ocarina of Time. This was shown in pre-release screenshots and videos, the ability to equip the medallions. So the original version of Ocarina of Time, the magic spells were the medallions. You would equip them to see and then use them. So for example, the fire medallion was replaced with that magic spell was converted into Din's Fire. But there were all 6 of them. They all did interesting things. This was also back when there was a wind temple and some other beta stuff. And,
Wind
We have
temple?
a moment here, but I'm going to let Dwango AC shout out the TASBot community.
Yes, indeed. But before I
Well,
do that, I want
Wind
to tell you
Waker.
about that shirt again because it's just that awesome. If you head
Kinda
over to the
spoils
end, you will
Wind
see
Waker.
the version 1 TASBot shirt. This is our first outing with our new TASBot form that we've worked on so hard over the last couple of years. He looks really cute on that shirt. I had an update from the Eddie a couple of hours ago. They'd already sold over 1,000 of those, and that means that alone is donating $5 per shirt for that. So this is for charity, folks. Go out and get them. This is the only time you can get them is at this event. Also, we have the TASBot community at discord.gg/TASBot. And as another quick shout out, the folks before us, they're over at, oh gosh, I almost forgot their name. P2SR, discord.gg/P2SR. Those folks are not necessarily associated with the TASBot community, but they had a fantastic task earlier, and I wanted to make sure I gave them a shout out as well. So again, if you're interested in tool-assisted speedrun content being run on real consoles, head on over to discord.gg.
I should be talking right now because this guy's just talking about stuff that's happening at the event that's already happened. It was, you know, like a month ago.
So we're just going to head in here to Zora's Domain before we get into
The
realms.
SGDQ
And
from this
so
year.
In Ocarina of Time, normally...
But I don't know.
when
I
you
just got
complete
mesmerized
one of the adult Link
by all this new
dungeons,
stuff. I don't.
You dispel Ganon's curse on the area. So, for example, in Kokiri Forest, it was originally covered in monsters, and then when you beat the Forest Temple, well, the monsters go away. And so, for the Water Temple, the water in the lake was lowered, but when you beat the Water Temple, the water is raised, but the ice in Zora's Domain never melts, even though this was Ganondorf's curse. But now that we have the Fire Medallion on sea, we can use the powered-up fire and melt the ice in Zora's Domain. And this is very important because as child, we can't dive deep enough to get where we're going, and then as adult, you cannot use the iron boots because there's a layer of ice. Not going for that exit, we're actually going for this one down here. This is an alcove you can see, but now it's actually an exit, and it will lead us to the Unicorn Fountain.
Oh my gosh!
So this
I'm
is a beta area
speechless.
that was shown
I can't
in previous
react.
videos and screenshots. It's basically a similar design to to the fairy fountains from Majora's Mask, but it has this extra unicorn statue here in the middle. And there's also the pedestal of the ocarina here. This is a real beta item actually left on the cartridge that we just had to spawn in here.
It's like
It's used
there's
as
not
an
that
ocarina
much
prompt,
extra
of course.
space on the cartridge, but there's all this extra stuff. You know? It's only 256 megabit cartridge. I think that. Oh, this is the beta
So this
fairy.
is another beta item. This is a 3D model actually left in the cartridge. This is the beta Great Fairy. This is the original design for the Great Fairy. We just had to, it's actually in the same object file as the normal Great Fairy.
And normally the facets would probably
And
be
there's, beta
changing color,
pre-release,
like it's
screenshots
shiny,
and
but
videos of the beta Great Fairy here in the Unicorn Fountain.
they didn't do that. You know, like on the Master
She's gonna
Sword,
teach us a
swords
song
and
that
things,
represents
they'll
wisdom.
shimmer. Each facet will change color as the angle changes. She's teaching us a song. Overture of Sages. Holy cow, dude. You could actually learn this song?
So this song, The Overture of Sages, was actually shown in an early rumor about Ocarina of Time from 1999. It wasn't really clear if this rumor was true or not.
1998?
Because, there were some issues with the screenshots. They looked a little bit photoshopped.
Huh.
But, here we are.
I mean, the game
learning
came out
Overture
in
of
like November
Sages
1998.
From the Beta Great Fairy in the Unicorn Fountain.
Huh. Some old Zelda games. One of them was your old 2DS. Oh, just DS.
She
One was
tells
my
us
old
here
sister's
to,
Wii U.
play this
That's
song
basically
before
the old
Blade of
Zeldas I used to
Destiny.
play. Oh, nice, Hayden.
It's the Master Sword, of course.
Yeah, this was my first
It doesn't
Zelda
appear that she
when I was a
still has
kid.
the final version of the sound effects, the laughter, so oh well. And so we're going to do exactly what she told us, which is go and play this song in front of the Master Sword. We have a warp there. And so, it's very important. We're Adult Link.
There was a Sky Temple,
but we
too,
became
right?
Adult Link without ever pulling the Master Sword. And that means that we never opened the Door of Time, we never pulled the Master Sword, Ganondorf never got into the Sacred Realm, and the world isn't destroyed. This isn't how it looks like normally as Child Link, but we're Adult Link here in this scene. So we gave ourselves the 3 spiritual stones in the inventory editor at the beginning, so we have them. So we're just going to go and open the Door of Time, sort of like normal, but now as Adult Link. And the full Song of Time has replaced the normal Song of Time in our inventory. That's why we have to play it here. Normally we just play the normal Song of Time.
I can't believe there's actually, like, assets in the game. Like, texture
This is a
files
normal
for all
cutscene,
that
except
stuff.
normally only Child Link can be in this cutscene. And in fact, if you can see the spiritual stones clip into Link's head there because he's taller than he should be. And in fact, if you use speedrunning strategies, skip the Door of Time, and get into this cutscene as Adult Link normally, the cutscene will play out, but the Door of Time does not open. We looked at the code. It looks like it's probably just an oversight on their part, but it would be nice to think that it was an anti-cheat measure where, if you speedrun your way here, you can get your cutscene, but you can't get your door.
Wow. What?
This is another cutscene that normally only Child Link can be in.
The Master Sword isn't.
And
Is
again,
it
we
there?
have the big
It is
Goron
there.
sword
There's
on
a
our
sec.
back and in our inventory. We've never had the Master Sword in our inventory.
Oh.
Master Sword is still here in front of us.
Oh, okay. So we had the big Goron sword.
We're not going to be pulling the Master Sword. We're going to be playing the Overture of Sages in front of the Master Sword, as the Beta Great Fairy told us.
What is gonna happen?
It says, warp to the Sacred Realm.
And there's a cutscene. It's all in the game, dude. What? You get to warp to the Chamber of Sages?
So here we are in the Chamber of Sages.
Inside of the Temple of Light.
So, we got the full Song of Time, which represented courage. We got the Sage's Charm, which represented power. And we got the Overture of Sages, which represents wisdom. So our heart is now in balance between the 3 virtues. And so you'll notice these side platforms here
Virtues
in the Chamber of Sages.
from the
These are actually
goddesses.
in the scene normally. You'll see them in the cutscenes, but normally we don't get control in this scene. And normally we certainly don't get bridges that will lead us to the side platforms.
What? Sari is already here?
So the sages are each giving us their blessing and creating these bridges that allow us to climb higher in the sacred realm.
Darunia. This is... What? Oh my God. How did they know this was here? Rock solid, brother. Oh, he's so cute. And they have such little legs. And Ruto.
Guess that's what they call love at first sight.
Oh my gosh. I mean, all this kind of collision is in the... I mean, or, like, these kinds of, like, textures are in the game in other spots. Oh, so Impa's last. I thought Nuburu would be last.
So Nuburu said that she'd see us again in a few years, so here we are.
And the models actually do, like, they move. They're not just, like, standing there, you know, like, frozen. Everything's here. Oh, is Zelda the Seventh Sage? What's going to happen after Impa? Undoubtedly, you are the boy from the forest who appeared in Princess Zelda's dreams. I'm glad my charm found its
So
way
the
into
Sage's
your
charm
hands.
did indeed belong to Impa. She dropped it when she was fleeing the castle.
Okay, so Zelda threw the ocarina into the moat, and Impa dropped her locket.
So those are the 6 sages. There's one more platform up here.
Oh, it's Sheik!
Sounds like Sheik maybe has some idea of what we're up to here.
An age has passed. Are you... Are you kidding me?
I think we all want to know the answer to that question.
Link, this isn't the time for nonsense. Of course I'm a boy. Let's not keep everyone waiting. This is in the game, dude. Oh my gosh, 25 months,
Before we go through the story, I
Snazzy.
just want to remind all of
Thank you so much for
everyone
the
who's just
25
joining us,
months.
that this is an original,
Hi, hello,
unmodified
tis I.
copy of Ocarina of Time, and this is a real original N64.
Snail.
We haven't modified anything about the game in advance. All we've done is press buttons on 4 controllers very quickly and very precisely with the help of TaskBot. So this really is vanilla Ocarina of Time, just with a lot of glitches and a lot of very careful building on those glitches to create everything you're seeing here. Folks,
Oh, your brother beat the
Folks.
Zelda, Hayden?
enjoy.
Whoa! Ah! Oh my god! Dude, are you kidding me, dude? No! They showed a screenshot of this. This was totally fake, but it's in the game, man. After 23, okay, they added that. After 23 years. Actually, well, yeah, it would have been 23 and a half years.
So as you may have
Since
guessed
not
by
November
now, this
1998.
run actually is not called Ocarina of Time Beta Showcase. The true name of this run is Triforce Percent, because this is how to actually get the Triforce in Ocarina of Time.
Dang it.
But that isn't quite the end of the run.
They
We have
messed
a
it
bit more
up.
to show
Yeah,
you
they did,
today.
Snazzy.
Please take a look
Oh
at
no, this is not a live stream. This was from July 2nd. It's recent, but not at all live. It's a month ago. 23 years. Link. Huh. We get to make a wish on the Triforce. Is this real or is this added? The 23 years part had to be added. Rupees see the future.
So what do you think we should wish for?
Well, King of Hyrule is a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, rupees, I gotta tell you, folks, I think you should be giving your rupees to Doctors Without Borders instead.
See the future.
Shout out to Doctor Without Borders, of course. So what do you think, folks? Should we see the future?
Okay. Yeah, this isn't a newfangled game, Snazzy. Oh, I love that. Okay, so this is all stuff that they added. Okay, I don't know what's real and what's not now. The Running Man thing can't be real. Well, I mean, I don't know. There's a silent princess right there. We're in Skyloft. Newfangled additions to games. I gotcha, Snazzy. They should just made a ROM hack. Oh, we're look at that. Oh my gosh, they fixed him, Snazzy. How is this running natively on N64 hardware, though? I mean, that model has to have like twice as many polygons.
This is not a video. This is the N64.
They even got his sideburns, you know, swinging. How much work did this take? It's Zelda! Hanging by a thread. Oh my god.
It seems you managed to bring together a great number of them. I'm so happy to see this. I know they're out there, but it would be nice if we could see them, don't you think?
Type here together in the
All right,
chat
everyone,
now.
Type here together in the chat.
Now is a fantastic time to subscribe. Don't forget, you can gift sub people. If you are subscribed, type here together.
We're seeing
in the
Twitch
chat, or
chat
just buy a few
in
emotes that
on
go along.
N64. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Oh man. That's so cool, dude. Wow, incredible. What a game. It's me on the N64. I don't think it will work for you guys. You had to have been there.
Here it is.
Wow, so the future is everyone from Twitch chat in GDQ chat. No, it worked for us, I saw. No, you did not. Yo, have you guys heard that Liam quit N64 or SM64 speedruns? I actually don't know that. He might be back. Oh, man.
Thank you, Link, for all you have done for us.
ゼルダ姫ありがとう
It worked for you. You did no cap. Okay, I'll believe you, Snazzy. Wow. Wow. Triforce percent OOTH showcase.
So that is what we can do with arbitrary code execution.
Oh my gosh.
We really didn't modify anything about the game in advance.
This is not a
We
ROM.
really just pressed buttons on 4 controllers very quickly with the help of TaskBot and used glitches and built our way up to having more and more control over the game. The specific things we said along the game were beta content actually on the cartridge. That was really true. Those specific things were actually on the cartridge. But everything else, from the plot tying together the beta content to the whole finale sequence, was created by our team and injected into the game live through controller input.
Okay, so
When people
from
talk
the Chamber
about
of Sages
arbitrary code
onward.
execution, or even just technical speedrunning in general, folks will often say, "Oh, they destroyed the game." We wanted to do the exact opposite. Instead of being destructive, we wanted to make Ocarina of Time more complete than it ever was before. To make real everything fans wished it would be or believed it might have been.
I don't know,
And
Edo.
to go far beyond that, to create something completely brand new
I
that
don't
had never
know.
been done in 1998, but still completely within the game. Over 25 people contributed to Triforce%, and we've been working on this since a week after the Ace exploit was found in November 2019. It has been such a long journey, but such a rewarding journey to finally get here. But this project goes far beyond us, the developers. We've been fortunate to have the opportunity to partner with some of the best content creators, as well as some of the Hypebeast reactors.
That's amazing.
Who are creating content about Triforce% that will be released in the coming hours and days.
Oh my
You're seeing them on
gosh.
screen here. Please go ahead and check out their channels.
Oh, we should have been paying attention. I guess the name's on.
I want
Stream.
to give a big shout out to GDQ for lending us their platform and helping us help them raise money for Dodgers.
How would I
and
have? Why would I
Warriors.
ever lie to you? Of course you wouldn't lie to me,
To save
Snazzy.
state, because I'm not actually good enough at the game to do the Ace setup myself. To Dwango AC for giving me a chance when I first approached him about this in early 2020. And most of all, to the fan community, whose dreams and dedication to this game are the foundation of this project. The community is the future, so let us create the future
2019 to
together. Thank you
2022.
all so much for watching.
Okay. So there was a leaked photo of the Triforce in Ocarina of Time. They recreated that. It wasn't on the cartridge. Everything from... Okay.
Wow.
Oh, we still have the...
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, that was incredible.
That was incredible.
Don't
That was
steal my
incredible. Everyone
line!
in the room is standing. Standing for Mr. Tazbot, Dwango,
right.
Soren, and Save
We'll turn
State. So
this back
incredible.
on.
I want to read one last donation. I think this really hits it well.
Wow.
Civilian Defense donates $25. They say, this Ocarina of Time beta showcase may be the most fascinating thing I've ever seen out of GDQ. I can picture a game containing all of this interesting story content, and I want to see more. Thank you to Save State and the Tazbot team for showing this off. Give it up one more time.
Okie dokies. Wow, that was cool. So rude. It is rude, Snazzy. You're right. He stole my line. It wasn't obvious that people would say that at all. I wasn't saying what millions of others would have said in the exact same situation. And he as well. Sorsha did the... Or Sersha. I don't know Welsh spelling. Did the voice for Zelda. Wow. Cell shading Glank. Oh, yeah, I've heard of Glank before. Wow. Amazing. That's very cool. Alright. Now we play games, I guess. It's almost done. It's almost done. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Yeah, we watched the first half at the end of the last stream, so. The Triforce% team. Copyright. Nintendo. Okay. Look at the little guy. You look cute. Oh my, YouTube editor Angel Wind used under Creative Commons. Huh. Game over. Yeah, copyright sucks. Honestly, but that's cool that they made that. Alright, what games you guys want to play?